you will realize along the year in everything in life, it is just about not how perfect you do it, is how much of consistent you've been regardless of the outcome. Yeah, so Rad is going to give us an amazing method that I remember I studied when I was starting to become a personal trainer, which is SMART goals. They are still using it for work and for many other resources. So Rad is going to be teaching us as well a little bit more insights on how to use it. So Rad, all yours. Can you hear me and see me as well?
Yeah. How about me?
Perfecto.
Am I visible? Oh.
Yes, this seems very nice, the camera, so very pleased for that too. Nicely.
Nice. So, hello everyone. You know probably me. My name's Rad. I'm working as a personal coach, not personal coach. Go back. Mindset coach. I wanted to take your space. You see? How many of you here knows about SMART goals, what they are, how to set them? I don't know, Emir, those people are able to unmute themselves?
Yes, 100% they can.
Okay, that's
they
perfect.
can use the chatbots as well, but I believe India is making to sleep Kian, but Matthias, I don't know if he can participate as well, but the
If
more
you
you can
know, no,
participate...
I just wanted to know if people want to unmute themselves and say something, feel free to do it.
Yeah, I'm putting on the chatbots as well, so no worries.
Perfect. So, what are the SMART goals? Let's start with the story. Have you ever started any project? Maybe some diet, or maybe the fitness plan, maybe this one, maybe something before, with this kind of thought: I will, or I won't, be healthier, fitter, linear, stronger, richer. I want to have more money. How many of you had that kind of approach to goals? Good to know that you have a plan. How that plan goes when you just say this kind of, let's be honest, vague goal. Did it work out? For my experience, I've started plenty of projects with this kind of idea. I've started plenty of times dieting, exercising. Some of the time, yes, they kind of work out, but most of the time they didn't work out at all. Or if they work out somehow, I pretty fast, yeah, exactly. They pretty fast stop working out and you just go back to beginning, to square zero. These kind of vague goals are actually very hard to follow, isn't it? You cannot be sure where you go because you have no goals. You cannot measure this because how you can know that you are improving? I was lying to myself saying, when I get there I will know. And I've heard that plenty of times from my clients, from my friends. When I get there I will know. But how you will know that you get there? Exactly. Goal is important. My another thought was always, yeah, but setting goals are too restrictive. I like flexibility. Go on.
Right, and now I'm quite curious because also you're a coach, and how do you approach to your students when they ask you that they worry that their goal is changing many times, it's not the same? What would you say to a student that is coming to you and saying, "Hey, Rad, you know what? My goal changed and I worry about it." What would you say when people are changing their goals? It's okay to change the goals in different life stages that we got?
That's a very valid question. Let me ask you, is your life all the time constantly the same?
No, it's not. It's changing all the time.
So how you expect your goal will not change?
And that, for example, I wanna share something personal as well here, so that you can identify as well, guys. It is that I thought that how I started fitness when I was 18, it was for confidence. All right, I wanted to validate myself, to feel kind of like to have more a good posture, and to be able to just be surrounded with other people, because I was not comfortable being surrounded with men, because I grew up with women's. All right, I didn't have a father figure in some sort of way. So that was the main reason why I started doing fitness. But then right now it is more about my mental health. It is more about that after a very long day, for example, after this conversation that we're gonna have at 8:30, I got my kickboxing session. And I'm looking forward to it because I'm gonna sweat, I'm gonna punch, I'm gonna do everything. So I'm gonna take the stress out. So I don't care about anymore how people are gonna look at me or whatever. But things change. So my goal right now it is that I want to make sure that I'm stressing out myself in some sort of way after a very hectic day. So I was feeling worried about it. So in your case, you will just say to your students that it's okay to have a different outcome and a different goal. Yeah.
Like I say, life is not constant. Life's changing all the time. Our circumstances change all the time. So why our goals cannot change? Of course, it is good if you can stick to your goal, but that's life. Life is life is changing. Life is constantly flowing. So we have to adjust our goals. Sometimes we have to change them completely.
Thank you for that, because that's something that it is yeah reinforcing, because if I ask other coaches that you have other friends that they do coaching as well, like fitness coaching and health, they will be very resistant to tell their students, no, you need to follow just to you to get a six pack or to you to be in the best shape of your life. Of course, that's something that I believe we all want to, but sometimes it won't be the perfect moment. Sometimes the perfect thing that you can do, it is just being perfect on the go. If that makes sense.
Exactly.
I say, okay, fuck it. I just gonna at least keep it for my health, keep in some way walking at least with one leg, and then when things are gonna get sorted in some way, it's gonna be more sustainable or manageable. I'm gonna keep on the speed of the goal that maybe I wanted, but maybe change.
You never know.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank you.
That's the thing with life. It's good if you can stick to your goal. But sometimes there might be also a situation that your goal is not healthy anymore, not suitable for you anymore. And this is the reason to have a smart goal. So smart goal. I don't know if we get answers, who knows what it is or not. Go on.
I got another question. So this can also help others, but myself as well. How often would you take the time to reevaluate the SMART goals or the goals that you have or your students have? How often would you say, okay, maybe every 3 months, every month, every 6 months, just to sometimes get out of the automatic mode and thinking, oh my God, gee, I'm going to the gym just because of this, or I'm thinking this way because of this. How often would you reevaluate the goal settings that you do with your students, for example?
Very valid question. Well, I cannot say that there is some kind of rule that you have to follow, that you have to reevaluate every now or every like 3 months, half year. Or it is good to do that. But again, everything depends on your goal, on your circumstances. You might be good just every month sit and, okay, my goal is still valid for me, go on. Or you might sit a year after that and say, no, okay, something not working, maybe it's time to change. That may be also the other way around. After 1 month you might say, something not right, let's change it, let's adjust this to my lifestyle, to my circumstances. Or after a year, you might say, this goal is perfect fit for me. I'm going with it. So I would say, as often as you want, as often as you feel that you need that kind of reevaluation, or maybe more importantly, as often as you feel that something is not right with your goal, it's not working for you.
Because I would say so even myself, sometimes the only way that I will reevaluate something, it will be when I have the problem in front of my face. But because we are in very automatic mode, it's like, okay, I need to do this work, I need to do this, I need to do my house chores, I need to, and sometimes we are caring too much about it that it's going to be very difficult, at least for me, to sit down and say, okay, I will evaluate my goals or how is that feels. So how would you approach to someone that it is a very busy person and it's many people taking energy? Like for example, Vivian need to take off a little one, she got a business starting off, she got a part-time job, and also she needs to take care of a family. Like Matthias, a new position of a manager, also he needs to wake up very early, goes to bed very late. What would you approach to a person that potentially will be more likely to be on an automatic mode and very difficult to take that time to evaluate themselves?
Well, first of all, we need to create that awareness, this kind of mindset to be aware of us, of what's going on in our life, and to be aware to catch ourselves. Oh, stop, pause, I'm going on automatic. No, that's not what I want, right? No one wants actually to have like automatic life.
What is the tips that you would suggest to your students as well to create that type of awareness? Because nowadays it's very difficult. I know that sometimes as coaches it's quite easy for us to create that type of awareness because it's kind of like our environment, our ecosystem. But is any strategies that you give to your students that it can create that awareness to say, okay, you know what? How am I today? How was my energy levels? How was my food choices, or how was my mindset in your particular case, right? When it comes to business and entrepreneurship. So how would you create a little awareness that we can convert also to fitness and health in some sort of way, just to have an idea?
You've actually answered yourself by asking this kind of questions yourself. Just take that 1 minute. Just sit down. In the morning or in the evening, that's the best times. Just sit for 1 minute and ask yourself those questions. How am I feeling? How is my life? Am I just going through the life, ticking out the boxes? Or am I really enjoying that life and being aware of my actions, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions? Just take that 1 minute. Ask yourself those questions and answer honestly to yourself. No one will check this, but if you won't be honest with yourself, that's the worst part. That's the hardest part, I would say. To be honest with yourself. I know because I've struggled with this plenty of times. Even though I have that awareness that no one will check my answers, right? Because I'm answering to myself. I still, even in front of myself, I want to be, oh, I'm good, I'm doing good. Plenty of times I was doing this to myself. So, yeah, you have to be honest with those answers. That's it. But like you say, just take time, ask these questions, and answer.
I would say that's a really good strategy that you gave us today as well. When it comes to maybe in the morning, most likely, I used to do that when I was, in a relationship. Sometimes a relationship can take a lot of your time, all right? And a relationship also can be, for example, Sarah, that she's joining and she got 2 kids. You also have you got 2 kids, right? When your kids are around, they're requiring a lot of your time when they're awake in some sort of way, right? So I remember when I was in a relationship living together with my partner, I used to live with their family too, so it was 3 people plus me. And I remember it was COVID in that time, and I wanted to create a book, the book that I got. And I remember one of the things that it used to help me a lot, even though I hate it, it became kind of like a really nice routine. It was waking up, finding out what time they wake up, and wake up an hour or 2 hours earlier. And that helped me a lot to get across my workout, my walks, and everything. It used to be very horrible, especially in the winter period. But then I was feeling kind of like a refreshed time, because I knew that at 8 in the morning, the kitchen, it was a craziness. It was everyone getting rushed to work and everything. And it was, oh my God, I want to have my nice cup of coffee or going to a walk nicely without having my phone or anything. And it was a really good idea that I did, that potentially also you can do. So then when it comes to the SMART goals or the goal setting that you got, you don't feel frustrated that it's not working. It's just maybe the tools or the systems that you're having across that maybe you just need to kind of like improve it, right?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So that's a good idea, what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the
thing.
SMART goals? What is the acronym? I'm very curious.
So for those who don't know, SMART goals, or actually the SMART in front of the goal, is an acronym. It goes for the specific, measurable, achievable, I hope I remember all of them, relevant, and time-bound. What that mean? Well, specific goal. So I don't like to be like very detailed, but it needs to be specific. That's my approach. Some people like to have like very detailed goal. That's okay. I like to know exactly what I want, but without too many details. Next, measurable. You have to know how to measure your goal. You have to be able to measure it so you will see the progress. It needs to be achievable for you. And this goes with relevant for you. So it needs to be something that you know that in your life, in your circumstances, in your lifestyle, it will fit and you are able to achieve it. Because if you say for yourself, for example, oh, I will run a marathon, a 10K in 2 weeks. It is achievable, sort of, depending on your situation. But is it actually something very appealing to you to do something like that? Is it something that is relevant? It is something that will fit your lifestyle, your life regime? You have to answer those questions to yourself. And the last part is the more dreadful part, the time bounds, the deadlines. I hate everything what have the deadline at the end. But from experience, I can say, if I don't have that deadline, or if it's kind of like a flexible deadline, I always procrastinate, I always push it back. Not now, but in my earlier years. It was always, I always found it the reason to wait till the end. And then I will just do something. Why don't move that deadline closer so you'll start earlier? It is something that kind of have the psychology behind it to pressurize yourself a little bit. Just a little bit. Don't go to extreme. Just set the deadline that you will know how that you are able to achieve it. For example, going with this as we have the talk with fitness, I want to get fit, right? Instead of saying this vague goal, tell to yourself, I will run 2K in 1 month time. It is specific, you can measure it. It might fit your life, it might be achievable for you, because that all depends on your situation, but it has that deadline, right? Also, I want to be stronger. Instead of this, you might say, I will do 20 push-ups or 2 pull-ups in 4 weeks' time. This way, again, you have specific goal, you have deadline, it might be achievable for you, it might be relevant for your life, and that's what it is. That's what actually SMART goals are. So now, I will ask you to take 1 minute, maybe less, if you can. Think of your goal that you have regarding your fitness. Think of it and ask yourself, how can you transform it, change it to the SMART goal? So, this goal needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant for you, no one else, and it needs to have that deadline, that time bound. What do you say, people? Are we going for that?
Yes, I will say that you open my imagination right now. I am this type of person, as you said, that if I don't have a deadline, I will prognosticate to it. Of course, a couple of things based on my ecosystem helps me to be, in some sort of way, a little bit more consistent with my health and fitness in some sort of way, okay? Because I internalize through a lot of hard work and therapy and events and workshops and a lot of self-work investment, which I know you also do, and we currently doing as coaches. We're still always learning, right?
Exactly.
Because it's part of our ecosystem. But something that I realize it is that I will be on the top of my game every time I go kind of like a deadline when it comes to photo shooting or when it comes to competition. So something that I believe I will do for this summertime will be to compete in a volleyball game. I used to play volleyball a lot when I used to be a child. So I believe I will do that, and that will help me a lot. That's something that I've been suggesting to Matthias and Sarah. It is like, for example, Matthias loves bicycle, like he loves cycling. A cycling competition that will put you on the game and say, okay, I won't miss a cycling lesson, and that will keep you motivated. For example, right? Like, what was your latest way to you to keep you motivated as well, right? Because I'm quite curious, because you love hiking as well. You love this sort of way. What would you say it was kind of like that deadline that worked for you in the last time?
The last time. Well, it wasn't with the fitness goals. But my last time when I was actually motivated to achieve something, to push myself, it was with my application that I was working on for, or maybe not, well, application that I worked for one guy. And he wanted delivered this in 2 weeks. It was really tough. It was really tough.
2 weeks or not is a little time, but okay.
Yeah, but the application wasn't so difficult, let's be honest. It was pretty simple application. But at this time I've had my job, my business, and his application as well. So it was hard. I had that deadline and I've managed to do it. The part that was probably the hardest one, it was something new for me to learn as well. So at the same time I was developing this and learning. But it's done.
Hi, that's amazing, because I know that you love hiking, you love a lot of walk and being in nature. I believe it is a couple of competitions, like for example the Tatras. I don't know if it's a competition 100%, but I believe it is on hiking competitions.
Is it?
But it's an interesting part, right? Because that's part of the group goals as well, guys. It is kind of like a circle table conversation where we can add up ideas. For example, right now I'm very grateful to you, Rat, in this conversation that we're having, because that I was looking for something to do that inspired me to do that. I want to do it, and I don't want to do anymore the bodybuilding competitions, because they are not in the best way when it comes to nutrition. All right,
Okay.
it's taking the nutrition to a dieting position, and it's going against my actual values.
I
But a
understand.
volleyball competition will put me on a very fitness levels, and it's gonna push me. So I'm very happy that I found out, and it will become like a journey
My
that I will do
pleasure.
because volleyball is something amazing. So thank you, Rad.
My pleasure. I'm very happy that I was able to help you with this.
Yes, and for example, Sarah is saying that she would love to be fit for skiing. That's a goal as well.
That's lovely. That's very good goal. Exactly. How your
But
conversion goes now? Question to the audience. How your conversion to the SMART goals went? Did you done this exercise now? Did you pick it up
what
and
do you
go
mean?
and
Right now with you or before?
no? I've asked before we start talking now. I've asked people if they can think of one goal they have with their fitness and convert it into SMART goal. For 1 minute, that was 1 minute task. I think we take more time with our chat, but how people went with this?
But it's part of the game, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I really enjoy when we are kind of participating. I'm not going a very straight line because I believe that it is more an interactive way of learning and exploring as well ourselves because I know that that's something that you are very keen to work with your students as well. It's kind of like exploring our mind and not be very fixed. But here is
exactly.
putting Matthias as well. It was nice and interesting. Tensrat as well is saying.
It's my pleasure.
So that's amazing. Is anything else that you would love to add when it comes to doing these smart goals? Because I know that this is kind of like a specific coaching session that you do with personal with each of your students that requires more than just 1 minute. Probably it will take you a full coaching session personally with them, right? To do that kind of like smart goals. But is any particular tip or a trait that you can give to us that it can help us out to kind of like be in a desirable way to get across the smart goals and be hungry and doing it? If that makes sense.
The only thing I will say is to remember that this is your goal. So make it yours. Remember that it needs to be for you, achievable, relevant for you. You competing just with yourself. You proving something just to yourself. No one else. So take these SMART goals. Convert any goal. It doesn't have to be fitness goal, but you can use it in any goal setting. Convert any vague idea into SMART goal, but the one that is for you. That's, I think, the best suggestion.
A question just before to wrap up, because for example here I've been kind of like it is coming out and it is coming out my coaching site, and I've been kind of like asking Sarah, for example, is any competitions in February for skiing, and she's saying that it's not. But it doesn't need to be a competition. It can be, for example, also a specific type of skiing place that you want to go or adventure that you want to take. Like, for example, I believe like if you want to do the Machu Picchu trekking, you need to kind of like do kind of like a 15 days before kind of like assessment of your fitness levels to you to be able to catch up with the lack of oxygen and stuff. Or for example, let's go as crazy as doing this big peak that many people do, that they put their flag, what is it called, that is in the snow, the Everest.
All right.
The Everest, for example, an Everest, it is an experience, it's not competition, right? But it takes a lot of practice and you need to do few things before, but it's put an excitement
Yeah.
and something to look forward. So that's amazing. So maybe, Sarah, for you, it can be looking for any specific place that you require to be quite fit, and say, okay, I want to go in February to France and do this one in a specific that I know it requires for me to be more lighter than now or more fitter. So that's something as well. In my case, works for me to be in a competition, to be in a championship or something. Even if it's an amateur and he's playing with very new people like me, but it's just putting me that little fire. But we all different, of course.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
Sarah is saying I'm going with my friends to the Pyrenees. Last year I didn't ski because I was scared of getting injured. Aha! So now it can be a goal, if you are doing it again.
Yeah.
So amazing. Is anything else you want to say, Rad, before wrapping up?
If you have any questions, just ask now, or you can always ping me on WhatsApp, or we can put later on in the chat group my link to where you can catch me on any social media. But from bottom of my heart, I really appreciate your time, and I'm very grateful that you have me here, and I could share this few tips.
100%. Just out of curiosity, before finishing with the call, what made you choose the background of the galaxy?
I always think that there is universe, that's the higher power, and also this reminds me how little we are and how little or short our lifetime is. So not focus too much on competing with others, doing bad stuff, because you're just a dust in this kind of vast galaxy. Oh, that was the word.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. It's so little our lifetime here, guys, that the time, I don't know if it's true that you got this flashback of 5 seconds when everything from since you are born until you are, in that period when you are passing away, and it's flashing all your memories in that kind of like really fast pace. I want to look at it and say, oh, my God, I did live my life fully, in my own terms and my own meanings. And that's something that you are reminding me as well, because today came a picture on Facebook about memories, and it passed 10 years already that I'm in Bristol. And that reminds me that I don't feel that it's 10 years for me. It feels that it's 2 years yet, or 3 years, but it's 10 years already. And then in another blink, I'm going to be, my 40s, and then another blink, I'm going to be on my 50s, 60s, 70s, and they say, my God, what's going on?
Time's fly. That's true.
So that's crazy. But thank you, Rad, again. Thank you guys as well for being here. Remember, the purpose of these conversations that we are having on Thursday is to refocus, to get a kind of like a little time to you to be selfish and to kind of like just prioritize yourself to be better for the people that you love the most, and to you to be better in the areas of your life that is important, like work, finances, like your goals life, your professional life, love life. All these little things start within you. And this is what I bring, Rat, as well to you, to kind of like refresh a little bit and kind of like rethink about where is the goals that I'm accomplishing and how effective I am with them and how can I improve them. All right? So this is all, my champions. See you later, okay? Take care.
Take care all.
Bye.
Bye.